Hello, everybody. Today we're here with a quick word from Cousin Chat. As you all know, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so the purpose of this quick word is just to remind you of the importance of doing self-examinations and getting your mammogram if you are of age, to get one. So as far as getting your self-check, doing your self-checks, one of the things you could do to help remember when to do it is pick a day each month. So maybe you'll pick the first of the month or the last day of the month, but just a little, if you pick a day, then you'll remember to do it. Or you could get like a buddy check, like someone to remind you, hey, it's the first of the month. Did you do your check? And you could do the same for them as well. But the main thing is to do that self-check. And let's see, consider your family history. And some people figure, okay, well, the average age or the age sometimes that is recommended is 45 to get a mammogram, your first one. But you have to consider your family history. I know that's what I did. And so way before 45, I went and got my first one.
How
Because
old were you, Donna, when you had your first one?
I
Since you
think I might
knew
have been,
of
I think I might have been 35.
okay, and
Because,
so and you went that even at 35, you knew of your family history, right?
oh
So
yes,
that
oh
okay,
yes, on both
okay,
sides,
hmm,
strong. So that's why
gotcha.
I said, look, I want to, and then when they
Hmm.
looked at the family history, they said, okay, we'll approve it, and they let me get it. But it really was kind of early,
Okay,
in
okay,
the grand scheme of when it's
right.
recommended to get one. But I
Hmm.
said, no, 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 I need to start.
Right.
And so speaking of family history, there is something called people say BRCA, I guess to put it short, but it's really BRCA, and it's said to be reliable. It's well, let me just tell you exactly what it is. It's a test, it's a blood test that is done to determine if you have changes in your DNA, like changes or mutations in your DNA that increase the risk of breast cancer. But I would not just rely on this test alone. One of my family members actually did this test, and it showed absolutely nothing, and we knew it was in our family. So it was like, okay,
Hmm.
well, the test showed nothing, but she ended up having breast cancer, and she ended up having to have a mastectomy. So what I'm saying is, I really don't want people to just take this uh, test,
BRCA testing.
yeah, because I was trying to, it's breast cancer risk assessment. That is what it's
Right.
called. It's the breast cancer
Right.
risk assessment test. And it tests genetics, but I don't want people to think, okay, well, I took this test, nothing is showing in my blood that would, say whether or not it's in my genes or, it's not in my family. So I'm not going to go get this mammogram. Like, I don't feel like I need to go get the mammogram. Listen,
Hmm. Hmm.
you cannot just rely on that test. No test
Right.
is 100%. The
Right.
only one that
Well,
will
have you?
matter is if you end up getting tested for breast cancer and you have it. So my recommendation
So
would be
getting
to,
having a
that
mammogram.
that's 100%. But when you
Right.
take this test into consideration, take it into consideration, take it, there's nothing wrong with being extra cautious. But what I'm suggesting is to
Okay.
not just rely on it 100% to determine whether or not you're going to get a mammogram. Okay.
So would you recommend maybe having both at different times? Like the mammogram is something you have annually. And again, I don't. This is something they would have to consult with their doctors, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just wondering. I'm wondering if that BRCA test, it. I like. I guess how far does it determine
Well,
your chances of breast cancer? You know what I mean? Is it like a
yeah.
5 year? Is it a 10 year? Is it a life?
Well,
And
it says
again,
it's in your
that
genetics.
takes
I'm not
that doesn't
really.
take.
Yeah, it says it's supposed to be in your,
Okay.
if it's in your DNA or not. But we all know, like the relative that we're
Yeah.
speaking of, I will not divulge her personal
Hmm.
information, but we know it
Right.
runs in her family. Like, well, but it's our family,
Right. Right.
but we know who had it.
Hmm.
We know they were right here. She was
Right.
right here, and someone else is right. So for it to not show up in that
Right.
test, it's a little like,
It was
what do
very,
you mean?
very,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
And so for me,
yeah.
I personally, I've never had the test. I didn't need it.
Mhm,
Like, in my opinion, I'm going to get that mammogram.
mhm,
Like, you don't have to convince me every year to go get it.
yeah,
Is it uncomfortable?
yeah.
Yes. Who wants to be smashed? Like, but I'm being realistic. If you've had
Yeah,
a
but I
mammogram,
mean,
you know what I mean. It's a machine and it
right.
comes down on it and it,
Yeah.
and they do the one little
But
crank,
you
hold
know,
your
you
breath,
have to,
but you have to do it.
yeah, you have to do it.
You
Again, I
have to
mean,
do it.
that it takes what? It takes what? Maybe in total 20 minutes to an hour out of your life, right?
See,
Depending on the wait time and all of that
right,
kind of stuff.
depending on the wait time. Sometimes it takes a
Right.
while to get
Yeah.
a scheduled appointment. I go every
Right.
July. That's when I go. I know I'm out of
Okay.
school. I know I don't have to worry about taking off for it because I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
So I know that I'm off.
Yeah.
And if I just know every July I go, just like every July,
You know what,
I schedule my
Donna?
appointments for when I know I can make it. And if I have to take
Listen,
off, then I take off. But you got to do it.
cause bottom line, this falls under what? Self-care, right? So that
Yeah.
means just like, you go to a gynecologist, you go annually, you get the checkup.
In July.
Hey, well, if you could schedule everything during the same time or that same day, or you know what I mean? You go to the gynecologist one day.
We're not gonna do that in the same day, Brad. Brad, hold on. We're not doing that in the same day.
No. But I'm saying around the same time.
I'm just saying.
Too much
We're not
invasion,
going through that
right?
twice in one day.
Too much probing in one day, right?
Smashed and invaded in one day.
Okay,
I don't
maybe-
think so. No. No. Not
Okay,
happening. Cousin.
maybe within the same week or something. I'm just trying to.
Yeah.
You know what I
At
mean.
least
I'm
the
just trying.
same
I
month,
guess
you know,
if
in
you could
terms
do
of-
it all. Yeah.
At
yeah.
least in the same
You know?
area of time. So it will trigger you to remember to go do this thing.
Right.
That is so important
Right.
and life-saving, life-changing. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So, Brett, and males get it too. Men get breast
Males get
cancer
it too.
too.
Yeah.
May not be as
Males get
common,
it too.
but
So.
it happens.
Mhm.
And so sometimes there can be some embarrassment. Who wants to be nobody wants to have breast cancer, period. But for men, sometimes, telling somebody or, doing
Mhm.
self-examinations, like that's not something that they think to do. But
Yeah.
since men can't get it, I haven't done any research on that. And that's not what this quick word is for. This quick word is just to encourage people to get checked. And one of the other reasons I wanted to do this, Brad, is because, everybody is talking about COVID, the pandemic, and it is around, but so is breast cancer. And October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I just have not heard as much about it as we usually do. Like, it seems like a lot of, and I know the everything that's going on with government and the voting and what we have to do, folks, but I don't see as many advertisements or advertisements for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Go get checked.
It's taking a back burner this month.
It is. That's what it seems like to me. And so I just really wanted to take a moment to let everybody know, look, this is still around. Like, cancer is still here. I mean, COVID is, and we all have to vote and everything, but do not forget about checking yourself or getting checked or reminding a family member to get checked. Encourage your friends to go get checked. Get that mammogram if you are of age. So let's just go into the takeaway, Brad, because like I said, it's a quick word, but it's a deep conversation. But that's all we're here to do today, is just to remind you, see my little necklace, just to remind you to go get yourself checked. So that's our takeaway. Get your mammogram when you are supposed to get it. Do your self checks at least once a month. Get a buddy to help remind you if that's what you need to do. But basically, that's our takeaway for today. Get yourself checked, remind your friends, and take care of yourselves. That's it. So
self-check.
Till we come back, please think about that. I'm Donna.
And I'm Brad.
And this has been a quick word from Cousin Chat.
Cousin Chat.
All right. Be blessed, everybody.